Alright guys, it's time for another update. Didn't do what I wanted to do, which was get some video footage of me actually working, but been preoccupied doing some other work than the Mustang lately. Got a coworker that's got a STI that he's wanting. Had these stainless parts for a while. He's been wanting to get them welded up for a muffler delete for events and whatnot, for when he wants to go toying around or go the drag strip. But that's the original muffler down there. But got to practice my TIG welding with this on stainless, which I'm terrible with. So far, the pipe sections are just tacked, but the tip, the hanger, and the flange is welded all the way. Some of my better welds out of these would be probably this. Easy, short, straight line, wasn't too bad, doesn't look great, but. And then probably down here in some sections. Focus. Some of it's nasty, some of it looks decent. And I put too much heat into it in a bunch of areas, so the stainless properties aren't there anymore, but we'll just end up probably spraying the pipe black just to keep it from rusting in the areas where it's not gonna be stainless anymore. Anyways, this little Lotus has been getting some work put in lately. And I've gotten really good with sharpening tungstens. But I'm out of gas, so I couldn't finish it. But on to what I have done to the car, the Mustang that is. I got these fenders fitted up, bolted up previously. I was working on getting the door alignment and the rear quarter lined up. So the fender still has to be trimmed for the gaps, and it's still rubbing up here. But granted, it's lifted for the compensate for the weight of the glass once it gets added. But if you actually hold down on it some, it pulls it into place. And that inside striker, I broke my impact bit piece trying to get that sucker out, and it also pretty much stripped out the screw. So I have to order a big Phillips, pretty much like that size for the impact. And I'm gonna see if that'll get it out. If not, I'm gonna weld a nut on it and just impact it off with the actual impact driver or impact gun, whatever. But anyways, the quarter panels fit. I got this piece fabbed up. This was what I was working on previously. This section here is fabbed in, blended. You can see a little bit of the seam where it was welded, where it didn't quite blend all the way. It's gonna get bonded over anyways. I'm not worried about getting it perfect. The reason why it's a seam there isn't because of my poor fitment or terrible welding, but it's because this was rusted all the way out the bottom, and this B pillar is actually two pieces that are put together, and it's for, I guess, strength. You can see the other piece right here. My guess is it's strength, but also to hold in the rear, the nuts for these. It pretty much sandwiches a plate in there to lock that in. I just put one piece in here to replace it. I put a thicker piece of metal than what's here. I think this is like 18 or 20 gauge material maybe. This is like 16. I didn't have one big enough to compensate for the whole size of it, but there's nothing structural really here anyways. So anyways, it's welded in, blended, weld through primered, and this is lined up, tech screwed in place. I'm probably gonna seam weld this all the way across and just do away with this little gap here. Not really worried with it. This still has to be blended down. Also fab this up. And the wheel well is pretty much lined up. But everything's ready to be welded on it. This rear section, I ran into the same problem that I think Joe Daddy had, where this section here is lower than the trunk and then the corner piece. So, well, I got screws in there right now, so I can't really take that out. But anyways, drill out these spot welds and you just lift this up. You can't lift it by hand too much, really. But anyways, this will just have to raise up a bit, and you'll just weld these back. And that'll lock it in place. But I think I'm ready to weld this. I laid the trunk lid down on this and just gapped it in the back, and the lines across this are like on just perfect. So I think I'm at least gonna go ahead and spot weld this thing in. I might wait and finish the welds just in the event that I run into any kind of weird problems down the road. this little gap here, I think I'm just gonna put a copper backing on and just weld the seam and just connect this, and then I'll fill in this little gap. So it'll pretty much just be a constant weld all the way down this instead of spot welding it. And then from like here down, I'll spot weld and so on up the top. And then of course this will be seam welded all the way down, and it's right in this little dip that normally got lead filled. Obviously I won't be going with lead, even though way back when I bought a lead kit, which is, I think in this damn box, I think this is actually the lead free filler, or whatever, the non-toxic lead or whatever it is. It's from Eastwood. If anybody needs this stuff, let me know. I mean, I think I paid $100 and something for it, maybe, I don't even remember, but it's gonna get pretty much unused because I plan on probably using this or some liquid metal filler or something like that. I think they said this was the ideal thing to put in that gap. And of course I got Rage Gold to go over the top of everything. I mentioned before about the inner, about this gap. I think I'm just gonna pinch it down, clamp it, like clamp like here and here, and then weld in between, and just get it as best as possible, because later on I might end up cutting this all the way to flange it anyways, or to put flares on it. But like I said, my lines are pretty much on. I'm happy the only down part, or the only part that's off, is down here, this gap, which I don't know if you can make it out. Probably can see it better like that. It sticks out. The only thing I can think of to do with this is to brace it, put a 2x on it, and push in and try to bend it inward a little bit, because all the rest of the door is on. It's just this one section, and this quarter to rocker is pretty much like just perfect all the way down, so it's not like the quarter needed to come out. So that's where I'm at, guys. It's pretty much welding time, and then I'll go on to working on getting this gap right on this fender, I guess, so my door actually opens and closes properly, and then I'll move to the other side. Fun. And along with those strikers, I went ahead and ordered these Ring Brothers ones. I don't know if anybody has used these or seen them, but the whole car is going brushed, stainless and whatnot, so figured why not replace these suckers, since I'm about to destroy the screws getting them out, so I'll be able to adjust them. So that's what I'm gonna do. Thanks for watching, guys. Tune in for next time of Will This Car Ever Get Done?